Good day, everyone. Today, we will be presenting the Republic Act 6969, also known as Toxic Substances and Hazardous and Nuclear Waste Control Act of 1990, alongside with my groups, Francis Bocal and Dinalo Andre. In this presentation, we will discuss the scope and coverage of the law, the implementing agencies, the penalties for violation, and an example case related to this act. But why this law enacted? First, there was an increasing use of toxic chemicals in different industries. Because of this, many harmful substances were produced that could affect both people and the environment. Second, hazardous waste were often disposed of improperly. Instead of being treated safely, some waste were thrown into land, rivers, or other places where they could cause pollution. Third, some dangerous waste were illegally shipped into the Philippines. From other countries, this created a serious risk to the health of the Filipinos and the safety of the environment. Because of these problems, the government created the Republic Act 6969 to regulate toxic chemicals and hazardous waste and to protect public health and environment from the toxic contamination.
And now, the objective of this law is to regulate the importation, manufacture, processing, handling, storage, transportation, sale, distribution, use and disposal of chemical substances, and to prevent the entry of hazardous and nuclear waste in the Philippines, and to protect human health and the environment. And number 4, to ensure proper waste management. So, the law aims to regulate chemical substances, prevent hazardous and nuclear waste entry, protect human health and the environment, and ensure proper waste management. And now, the department agencies implementing RA 6969. The lead agency, DENR, Environmental Management Bureau, EMB, assumes primary responsibility for enforcing environmental regulations, overseeing chemical substances management, and supervising waste disposal practices. Number 2, DOH, or Department of Health. They provide medical and public health supervision, assessing health risks associated with hazardous substances, and ensuring compliance with health-related provisions of the law. Number 3, the BOC, or Bureau of Customs. They are part of the Department of Finance. They monitor the importation of toxic and hazardous substances to make sure illegal or unregulated materials don't enter the country. Number 4, LGUs, the local government units, local offices of the government such as cities, municipalities, provinces, helps enforce the law on the ground, monitor local businesses, and ensure proper handling and disposal of hazardous substances in their area. This multi-agency structure facilitates coordinated regulation of chemical substances, hazardous waste, and nuclear waste, integrating environmental protection with public health and customs oversight.
Good day, everyone. I am Rev. Andre Dinalo, the third reporter, about the topic Toxic Substances and Hazardous Nuclear Waste Control Act of 1990, Republic Act number 6969. So, let's move on to the scope and coverage. Let's define the following chemical. First, the chemical substance. Any organic or inorganic substance with a specific molecular identity, including elements and substances formed by chemical reactions or occurring naturally. Example, elements of periodic table, the water or the H2O. Second, chemical mixture, a combination of two or more chemical substances that do not chemically react to form a new substance. Example, water and salt. Third, hazardous substances, substances that may cause short-term, acute harm like poisoning, burns, fire, or explosion, or long-term environmental harm such as cancer, water pollution, or resistance to biodegradation. Example, chlorine gas and sulfuric acid. Fourth, hazardous waste. Discarded materials with no safe commercial use, including industrial byproducts, residues, contaminated equipment, and imported waste for dumping. Example, industrial sludge, contaminated PPE, discarded pesticides, and lastly, the nuclear waste, hazardous waste that become radioactive due to exposure to radiation from nuclear fuel production or use, excluding usable nuclear fuel and finished. Example, spent nuclear fuel rods and contaminated reactor parts. So let's move forward to the penalty and sanctions. Imprisonment, 1 to 6 years for violations such as improper handling, storage, disposal, or transport to toxic and hazardous substances, and also 6 to 12 years for more serious violations, especially it is causes harm to human health or the environment. Okay, let's move to the fines. Fines, 50 to 500,000 for minor violations. Higher fines may be imposed depending to the damage or cost. And also revocation of license or permit. If you are a business or a company, your permit to operate may be suspended or revoked if you violate RA 6969 regulations. Liability for damages. The violators may be required to pay for clean costs and compensation for damages causes to people and property to the environment. Okay, so we're done for talking about the fines and penalties and sanctions. So let's move forward to the for actual case. It is a Canadian waste shipment in 2013 to 2019. In 2013, a private company from Canada shipped 103 container vans to Philippines that were declared as recyclable plastic materials. However, upon inspection, the containers were found to contain mixed household garbage, including used diapers and other non-recyclable. This act violated the Republic Act number 6969, which strictly prohibits the importation of hazardous and toxic waste into the country. The shipment caused public outrage and diplomatic tension between the Philippines and the Canada. After several years of dispute, the Philippine government demanded to return the waste, and in 2019, the containers were finally shipped back to Canada. This case highlights the importance of enforcing environmental laws and protecting the country from becoming a dumping ground for foreign hazardous waste. So these are the references as you can see here are PPT, and that's all, guys. Thank you for listening to our report, and I hope you understand. Good day.